Welcome back to our channel, Soap Fanatics. Today is a truly beautiful day to dive into the absolute madness currently unfolding in Port Charles. We have got a bombshell update that is going to shake the very foundation of General Hospital, and trust me, you are not ready for this. Grab your coffee, hit that subscribe button, and let's get into it. Let's start by looking at exactly how we got here. As we all know, Jason Morgan is currently sitting in WSB custody, and the sheer injustice of it all is enough to make anyone's blood boil. Jason took the fall for Rocco Falconeri. Yes, little Rocco was the one who actually shot Ross Cullum on the pier. And Jason, being the ultimate protector, sacrificed his own freedom to keep that kid out of Steinmauer. It was a noble move, but it has cost Jason dearly. And what happens next? The WSB swoops in and ships Jason off to a secret undisclosed black site. I mean, can you believe it? The WSB is completely out of control right now. We have Jack Brennan running his manipulative games with Carly and Nina. Ross Cullum acting like a rogue murderous agent who stabbed Marco Rios. And now they have locked up Jason Morgan in a place where he basically doesn't exist. It is a terrifying situation, especially when you think about the ripple effects it is having back home. Speaking of those ripple effects, Danny Morgan is losing his mind. That poor kid is so desperate to bring his father home that he actually went to Sonny Corinthos and asked to join the mob. Danny wants to take the law into his own hands and go after Jen Sidwell, believing Sidwell is the root of all Jason's problems. Sonny thankfully turned him down, but the stakes have never been higher. Danny's reckless joyride with Charlotte Cassadine just caused a massive fiery crash on Route 91. Jason is completely cut off from the world, while his son is spiraling into a very dark and dangerous place without his father's guidance. But here's the kicker, guys, and you won't believe what happens next. Jason is sitting in this dim, damp, terrifying WSB solitary confinement cell. The lighting is terrible, the air is thick with despair, and Jason is just trying to figure out his next move. He looks across the narrow hallway into the opposite cell. The light flickers, and there, sitting in the shadows, is a gaunt, broken, malnourished man. Jason squints. He focuses his eyes, and then his heart absolutely stops. The man in the cell opposite him has a face that is entirely too familiar. It is a face that Port Charles has been mourning, and recently a face that Port Charles thought had miraculously returned. It is Nathan West, the real, actual, original Nathan West. Amazing. I am literally screaming at my screen over this absolute cliffhanger of a moment. Let's be real for a second. Many fans thought Nathan was gone for good, or they thought this current version walking around Port Charles was just a slightly off traumatized version of him. But I always felt there was something deeply sinister happening. The legacy character return we thought we got was a total lie. The man in that cell is the real hero, and the man parading around Port Charles is a monster. In the dim light of the WSB dungeon, the real Nathan reveals a horrifying truth to Jason. His voice is weak, raspy from disuse, but the sheer willpower in his eyes is undeniable. He explains that years ago he was drugged, ambushed, and kidnapped by his own evil twin, Cassius Faison. Cassius didn't just want to hurt Nathan, he wanted to completely erase him and steal his life. Cassius threw his own brother into a hellhole just to take over his identity. That's crazy. Nathan details the absolute psychological torture of his captivity. He tells Jason how Cassius meticulously studied him before the kidnapping. Cassius learned his voice, his speech patterns, his mannerisms, and his daily habits. It is a level of obsession that is genuinely terrifying. I think this action proves that Cassius is every bit as sick and twisted as his father, Cesar Faison. The Faison legacy of madness is alive and well, and Cassius is the new mastermind using his father's twisted playbook to perfection. As Nathan speaks, you can practically see the gears turning in Jason's head. The traumatic brain injury might have altered Jason's emotions years ago, making him the stoic enforcer we know, but his analytical skills are sharper than ever. He doesn't panic. He processes the threat coldly. Jason realizes with absolute horror that the man currently in Port Charles is a demonic imposter. This imposter is sleeping with Lulu Spencer. He is manipulating his sister Britt Westbourne. He's a walking infection in their home, touching their loved ones and living a lie. But then the realization hits Jason like a freight train. Danny and Rocco. Jason sacrificed his entire life and freedom to protect Rocco from the WSB, only to realize that Rocco is currently living in the same town, completely exposed to a psychopathic Faison, and Danny is out there recklessly trying to fight a mob war. The safety of these children is hanging by a thread. Jason knows that if Cassius decides to tie up loose ends, those kids are sitting ducks. The protective father instinct roars to life inside Jason Morgan, and he knows he has to get out of that cell immediately. And if that wasn't enough to make your blood run cold, Nathan drops another massive bombshell. He reveals that Cassius isn't just playing house with Lulu, he is actively collaborating with Jens Sidwell. Yes, The same Jen Sidwell who is currently terrorizing Port Charles, blaming Sonny for Marco Rios' death, and threatening everyone in his path. Cassius and Sidwell are manipulating the entire PCPD from the inside. They are controlling the narrative, burying evidence, and steering the cops away from the truth. I think this is the most brilliant and terrifying plot twist the writers have given us in years. By placing Cassius inside the PCPD, Sidwell has a mole with unprecedented access. They are literally pulling the strings of justice in Port Charles. No wonder Dante Falconeri has been running in circles with his investigations into Marco's murder and Cullum shooting. The corruption goes all the way to the top, and Cassius is the puppet master wearing a badge. But Jason and Nathan don't have time to sit and chat. The situation in that secret facility is escalating rapidly. The WSB, in their infinite sprawling corruption, realizes that they have made a deadly mistake. They have an innocent man in Jason, and a kidnapped cop in Nathan locked in an illegal black site. And what does the WSB do when they have a mess? They bury it. A kill order is issued. The guards are preparing to execute the witnesses and sweep the entire atrocity under the rug to protect the agency's reputation. This is where the episode turns into an absolute high-octane action movie. Jason Morgan is not just a mob enforcer, he's a highly trained lethal assassin. He vows right then and there to bring Nathan home and to expose the filthy crimes of the Faison family. Using a tiny, jagged piece of metal, he managed to scrounge from the cell floor. Jason begins to pick the high-tech lock of his cell. His focus is absolute. His determination is unbreakable. He's a machine operating on pure adrenaline and protective rage. While Jason works the lock, Nathan uses every last ounce of his remaining strength to help. Nathan might be gaunt and weak, but his mind is still sharp as a tack. He's been in this facility long enough to memorize the guard rotations, the security layouts, and the blind spots. He whispers the building schematics to Jason across the dark hall, warning him about a deadly laser alarm system that guards the primary exit. It is a beautiful, poignant moment of teamwork between two men who have lost so much to the criminal underworld. The lock clicks. The heavy door swings open. Jason slips out into the corridor like a shadow, taking down the first guard with brutal, silent efficiency. He grabs the guard's keys, frees Nathan from his nightmare, and the two of them begin their harrowing escape. They navigate the dim corridors, dodging heavily armed patrols, and completely bypassing the laser grid thanks to Nathan's flawless intel. The tension in the sequence is palpable. You are literally on the edge of your seat, watching them outsmart the corrupt WSB agents. They make it out into the cold night air. They are free, but the war is far from over. Jason and Nathan manage to secure transport and make the grueling paranoid journey back to Port Charles. They know they can't go to the police. The PCPD is compromised by Cassius. They can't go to the hospital without raising alarms. They head straight into the heart of Corinthos territory that go directly to Sonny. Let's set the scene at Sonny's house. Sonny is already at his absolute breaking point. He has Justine Turner warning him about Sidwell's escalating wrath. He has Rick Lansing telling him to prepare for an all-out war. He is grieving, stressed, and volatile. Suddenly, the door to his private office opens. In walks his best friend, Jason Morgan, whom he thought was lost to the WSB forever. And right behind Jason A., battered, bruised, but very much alive, Nathan West. Sonny is completely and utterly shocked. The look on Maurice Bernard's face in this imagined scene is going to be Emmy-worthy. Sonny's jaw drops. He thought Marco's death, Ezra Boyle's betrayal, and Sidwell's threats were the biggest problems on his plate. But this changes the entire game. Jason quickly debriefs Sonny, laying out the horrifying truth about Cassius Faison, the years of identity theft, the WSB kill order, and the unholy alliance with Jen Sidwell. The shock quickly morphs into pure unadulterated mob boss rage. Sonny realizes that his family, his city, and his territory have been infiltrated by a Faison. The three of them, the seasoned mob boss, the lethal enforcer, and the resurrected cop, form an immediate, unbreakable alliance. They begin to sketch out a master plan to completely expose Cassius, dismantle Sidwell's operation, and take back Port Charles once and for all. But what does this mean for the rest of the canvas? Let's talk theories. When Lulu Spencer finds out the truth, it is going to destroy her. She has been sharing her life, her home, and her bed with the man who tortured and kidnapped the love of her life. The psychological trauma Lulu is going to face will be monumental. I think we are going to see a massive emotional breakdown, followed by a fierce, vengeful Lulu who wants Cassius's head on a platter. She will never forgive herself for not noticing, even though Cassius's deception was masterful. And what about Britt Westbourne? She has been taking orders from Cassius, thinking he was just a slightly unhinged Nathan trying to protect her from Sidwell and Cullum. When she realizes that her actual brother has been rotting in a WSB black site while her evil twin brother manipulated her life, judged her, and controlled her Huntington's medication, Britt is going to go absolutely nuclear. She might even team up with Jason and Sonny to deliver the final fatal blow to Cassius herself. As for Jen Sidwell, he thinks he is the smartest man in the room. He thinks he has the PCPD in his pocket, Laura Collins caving to his demands, and Sonny on the ropes. But he has no idea that the ultimate trio is coming for him. With Ethan Lovett already in town looking to take Sidwell down for what he did to Holly, and now Jason and Nathan joining the fight, Sidwell's empire is about to crumble into dust. This is the kind of high-stakes, explosive storytelling that makes us love General Hospital. We are looking at one of the greatest showdowns in daytime television history. The Return of the Real Nathan West is a masterstroke of writing, tying together years of Faison family history, WSB corruption, and mob warfare into one epic sprawling narrative. I cannot wait to see how Cassius' smug face falls when he sees his real brother walk through the doors of the PCPD. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Do you think Lulu will survive this betrayal? Will Jason get his final revenge on the WSB? Let's discuss.